Hello everyone, welcome to Options with Doug, streaming live daily on Bookmap Discord and the Bookmap YouTube channel at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Before I get started, I need to go through the disclosures. General disclosure: all Bookmap Limited materials, information, and presentations are for educational purposes only and should not be considered specific investment advice nor recommendations. Risk disclosure: trading futures, equities, and options involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. The focus of my presentation and the focus of the Options-Doug chat channel in Discord is options, order flow, the impact of options markets on stocks and futures, and the influence of market maker hedging flow on price action. I have a two-step process for trading, and the first is planning, and I use positional analysis. I look at how traders and market makers are positioned in the options market and how those positions change from day to day to develop a thesis regarding the expected trading range and volatility for the day, as well as a directional bias. And the second step of my process is execution, and I look at real-time order flow in Bookmap and real-time market maker hedging flow in Spotgamma Hero to confirm my thesis and for setups for entries and exits. And when I talk about setups, I will be talking about an underlying asset. And the setups can be taken with futures, stocks, or options, your choice. So my planning and analysis is based on the options market, and the setups that I will be talking about are in an underlying that can be taken again with futures, shares of stock, or options. Questions and comments are welcome, and I will be watching both the Options-Doug chat channel in Discord as well as the chat and YouTube for your questions and comments. And Floyd's Garage, thank you very much for confirming my sound. And Karma FX, hello, glad you're here, Floyd's Garage. Thanks for your comments. All right, my agenda for today, what I want to talk about, first of all, economic data, events, news items, and then earnings for today and for the rest of the week. Then I'll go through my positional analysis, and then I'll review some setups from this morning, and then we'll talk about the live market. So when I get to the live market, if anybody has any stocks they want me to take a look at, please let me know. And Karma FX, very glad to be here and glad you're here as well. Thank you for your kind comments. All right, news for today. First of all, economic data. Retail sales came out at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time, and they were less than expected, less than the previous number. And then also, I think it was industrial production came out at 9:15 a.m., and that was also less than expected and less than the previous number. And then Microsoft, and I'm sure everybody has seen this, made an announcement just right around 11:30 about charging a $30 premium for their AI-powered Copilot product that is that will be I guess an add-on or a premium for their Office products, and that the market, Microsoft took off like a rocket. You would think the Fed might have said they were going to cut right to the next meeting or something like that. It was a crazy move higher. We'll take a look at that. So anyway, that was unexpected news that really lit a fire in the market. So again, we'll talk about that in a few minutes. All right, let's get started with positional. Oh, let me just cover the news items for the rest of the week. So tomorrow, primary events are earnings after the market closes for Tesla and Netflix, and then Thursday, jobless claims, and then finally on Friday, the monthly options expiration. And let me just remind everyone that the expiration is call dominated. And what that means is there are a lot of calls supporting the market, and a lot of those calls will expire on Friday, and that could potentially lead to some weakness. And Spotgamma is actually calling for market weakness potentially after the VIX expiration tomorrow. So again, let me just point out this is a call dominated expiration, and it's pretty typical behavior to see some reversal or consolidation after expiration, call dominated expiration. So what I'm talking about is this is for SPX. This is the July expiration, and this is delta notional. The orange bars are showing call delta notional, and the blue bar is showing put delta notional. And that's right, Gray says VIX is morning expiration. That is correct, as far as I know. All right, so that is the SPX, call dominated expiration. And then the larger expirations are typically the quarterly expirations. For SPX, there's September and December, and both still call dominated. Let's take a look at SPY. And for SPY, this is the July expiration, this Friday, heavily call dominated and larger than the September and December quarterly expirations. And then finally, here's QQQ, also heavily call dominated. All right, let's get to positional analysis now. So first of all, here is the S&P 500, and also obviously in a pretty strong uptrend prior to the Microsoft news. Let's talk about levels. First of all, this is and actually before I dig further into this chart, let's take a look at a larger time frame first. So this is SPX in a thinkorswim chart, 30-day, 1-hour chart, showing the uptrend that began last week, right around 4,400, and continues higher. Let me point out some levels on this chart. The dashed purple lines are showing the lower and upper weekly expected move. And we'll take a look at a little bit shorter time frame just to see this up close. It looks like SPX is pretty close to that level. Let's see. So SPX is still below the upper weekly expected move. It is above the upper daily expected move, shown by these dashed blue lines. And this information just comes from the options market. You can get it from any options chain, any trading platform with an options chain. Let me point out some Spotgamma levels. These are proprietary Spotgamma levels. First, there's the put wall. And note that strike did move up pretty substantially from yesterday. So yesterday it moved down from 4,200 on Friday to 4,000 yesterday, and now has moved back up to 4,300. So 4,200 to 4,000, now up to 4,300. That is Spotgamma's level, that the put wall that can, it's the strike with the largest net negative gamma. It can be expected to act as support. And then the next level up is the volatility trigger, and that's at 4470. That is Spotgamma's proprietary gamma flip level. Below that level, market makers' position on the gamma curve is negative. In a negative gamma environment, market makers have to trade with price to hedge their delta exposure, and that tends to enhance or increase volatility. On the other hand, like SPX is trading now, above that level, market makers' position market makers' position on the gamma curve is positive. In a positive gamma environment, market makers have to trade against price to hedge their delta exposure, and that tends to subdue volatility. And then the next level up is the 4,500 absolute gamma strike. That's the strike with the largest absolute gamma. And then finally, the call wall at 45.50, and note that is Spotgamma's call wall level is the strike with the largest net positive gamma that can be expected to act as resistance. And note that level did drop lower from yesterday. It was at 4,600 yesterday, and it moved back down to 45.50. So the ceiling, based on the information yesterday, has moved down. So the potential upper end of the price range moved down from 4,600 to 4,500. All right, let's take a look at a shorter time frame, just to see the levels that are in play for today. So this is a 1 day, 1 minute chart. Note this combo level at 45.23, that's SPX 45.23, acted as support. And here's the call wall at 45.50, and price is above the upper daily expected move, still just below the call wall. It's that's the next target, the call wall at 45.50, and then here's the upper weekly expected move. All right, let's take a look at Bookmap. So in Bookmap, I have all those levels shown. These are SPX levels. For example, there's the 45.50 call wall. Note there is a difference between the price in ES and SPX. I have it at about 32 points. That's what Spotgamma is using. So that is actually ES 45.82 is equivalent to the SPX 45.50 call wall. And there's that 45.23 level that acted as support earlier. And note also support at the open was at this 45.15 level, just above the SPY 450 absolute gamma strike. All right, there were some shifts higher in the SPY level, so I'm showing SPX, SPY, and SPX, SPY combo levels all on my chart, as well as the round numbers for for ES and SPY. All right, shifts in levels. I talked about the shift higher for SPX. The 4,300 the put wallet shifted higher to 4,300. Call wall shifted lower to 45.50, and for SPY, the volatility trigger shifted higher, and the put wall shifted higher, and then the call wall shifted higher. And there was some discussion about that yesterday in Discord. Slotazari was looking for a move higher to 460, and that did not happen. The SPY call wall did move higher though to 451. So from 450 yesterday to 451, and the S&P 500 is obviously trading above that level. So it's above the SPY 451 call wall and just below the SPX 45.50 call wall. So that's the S&P 500, the levels in play for today. Just a strong mechanical rally up towards the 45.50 call wall. All right, let's take a look at NASDAQ. All right, so there's the NASDAQ, and the Microsoft announcement obviously had a much larger impact on the NASDAQ, and you can see it right there just after 11:30. And now NASDAQ is trading up to the QQQ 385 call wall and just above the upper daily expected move. So let's take a look at a QQQ chart. To get a closer look at the levels in play. All right, so this was this morning, reversal at the 380 level, and that was a pretty sharp reversal higher. Again, at 380, that is the absolute gamma strike. Acted as support, and then here's the Microsoft announcement just after 11:30. Sharp reversal higher at the 381 level as well as VWAP. And now NASDAQ is trading up to the QQQ 385 call wall. So spot gamma levels and round number levels for QQQ definitely in play for today. Let's go back to NASDAQ. So here's the initial support this morning. Right here. And this is actually the QQQ 380 level, and this combo level, NDX QQQ combo level 15,603 is at exactly the same NQ level. So that's why they're showing overlap, but that is actually both levels, the 380 level as well as the NDX QQQ combo level. Then here's the reversal higher at the 381 level, and now price is trading up toward the or up just above the QQQ 385 call wall and above the upper daily expected move and just below the upper weekly expected move. Looks like I need to add more levels to my NASDAQ chart. All right, so that's NASDAQ, levels in play, stronger impact of the Microsoft announcement to NASDAQ. All right, shifts in levels. So for NDX, the volatility trigger did shift higher, and also the absolute gamma strike shifted higher to 15,500. So that is prices above that level. And then for QQQ, there was only one shift higher. That was for the volatility trigger, shifted higher from 374 to 379. So I thought overall the shifts in levels were, let's say, slightly neutral to slightly bullish. All right, I'm gonna skip over the Vanna model. There's let me just point out the the data here that I want to take a look at. Let's go to gamma notional, and this is Phantom model is just showing how market makers may react to changes in price and implied volatility, and you can pretty much get that same information just by looking at gamma notional. So this is showing market makers' position on the gamma curve for SPX, SPY, NDX, and QQQ. And this is showing that gamma notional is positive for all these indices and shifted higher than yesterday for our SPX, SPY, and QQQ, and shifted slightly lower for NDX. NDX is not significant. All right, so again, overall, based on this, I was looking for a lower volatility day. Certainly is not as much range as happened today, but that there's a good bit of that, especially in NASDAQ, is based on the Microsoft announcement. All right, let me take a look at questions. All right, so D&T Matter asks, what is your priority of inputs? Volatility trigger, call put walls, combo levels, large gamma levels. All right, so they do slightly different things. So first of all, volatility trigger, I'm just looking at again, whether price is above that level or below that level. And above, like SPX is trading now, I'm looking for market makers to trade against price to hedge their delta exposure. Although Spotgamma, they look at it that way as well as being slightly bullish when price is above the volatility trigger. Call and put walls, I'm looking at those as resistance and support levels. Call wall resistance, put wall support. And then combo levels are important, large gamma levels. And so call wall I'm looking at as a potential resistance level. Put wall I'm looking at as a potential support level. And all the other levels, I'm looking at those as potential resistance if tested from below, or potential support if tested from above. All right, so I don't know, I'm not sure that's what you're looking for, but that's how I look at those. And then he says, I asked, do you see SPX call put walls hold stronger than SPY call put walls? I would say, well, I don't know. Spotgamma has the statistics, and I think their statistics are based on SPX. And they see, for example, a test of the call wall, breach of the call wall, forward 1 day and 5 day negative returns based on the SPX breach of the call wall. And I don't know if they have stats for SPY or not. I would, generally, I think the SPY call wall moves around a little bit more, and I would place greater weight on the SPX call and put walls rather than the SPY call and put walls. And then I see SPY call and put walls having more weight, acting as support or resistance and support more than the call and put walls for single stocks. All right, let's take a look. Let's take a look at setups now. All right, the S&P 500 continues to grind higher toward the 45.50 call wall. Okay, D&T Matter says that makes sense. Thank you. You're welcome. Thanks for your question. All right, let's take a look at we'll see what options traders are doing, and they're definitely contributing to this mechanical grind higher. So this is the SPX hero signal. This is showing price with a white line for SPX. Oh, pardon my voice today, I'm not sure what's wrong. And then this is the hero signal, hedging impact real-time options. This is from Spotgamma. What this is showing, this is a combined signal for the S&P 500, for SPX, SPY, XSP, and ES futures, showing options trades and market maker hedging flow combined into one signal. And for trading the S&P 500, this is typically what you want to look at. Spotgamma does provide the signals for the individual components. All right, let's take a closer look at this. And note the very strong correlation between options trades, hedging flow, and price action. And this, there were pullbacks, so that this is just really confirming any long setup on any pullback. So let's see what traders are doing. Traders are buying calls and buying puts. Calls shown by the rising orange line. Puts shown by the falling blue line. These lines are shown in terms of delta. So buying calls, that's a positive delta position. When traders buy calls, market makers sell the calls, and they have to buy futures to hedge their delta exposure. And we can take a look at the notional value, the cumulative notional value for the day, 5.6 billion call buyers. That is quite large, quite positive. This blue number for puts is negative, so that indicates that's negative notional value, negative delta notional. Traders are buying puts. The call buyers are more aggressive than the put buyers, and price is responding to the call buyers. All right, let's go take a look at Bookmap again. We'll just leave hero like this. And I'm going to zoom in a bit, and then we can just scroll through this. Adjust this a little bit. All right, so Truman asks, when the blue line goes positive, that means that put buyers are selling puts. So that means that traders are selling puts. So the lines are shown in terms of delta. So rising lines, rising orange line means that traders are buying calls, and rising blue line means that traders are selling puts. So just think of the lines in terms of options delta. All right, just wanted to point out something interesting here before the cash open. Note the large traders selling with iceberg orders. That's what those numbers indicate. That's also shown by the following light blue line. They were obviously wrong. All right, CID, I'm not sure what you mean here. If you would please stay on topic, especially while I'm presenting. So if you have any questions about what I'm presenting, please feel free to post. Otherwise, please stick to the focus of the topics of this channel. Okay, so that is the pre-market. Large traders selling with iceberg orders, obviously wrong. All right, let's move over here a little bit. Then we'll look at the cash open. And as I pointed out before, this 450 absolute gamma strike, as well as this 4515 SPX 4515, that was actually noted as resistance in the Spotgamma AM founder's note, and it acted as support. It's an important level. Note the shift in order flow here, aggressive buyers coming in, shown by the green volume dots. Let me tone those down just a little bit. Reduce the size just a little bit. So aggressive buyers come in, and you can see that by the rising cumulative volume delta. And then buy stop orders start to fuel the move higher, and that's shown right here. Also by the rising yellow line. Again, you can see the shift in order flow at this 4523 level. So there, if you miss the initial entry, there's a good pullback again to the 4523 level, acting as support, shift in order flow. Quite a bit of consolidation around this 4530 level that was also noted as resistance in the Spotgamma AM founder's note. And then price breaks above that level. And note this move higher continues to be fueled by stop orders, shown by the rising yellow line in the subchart. And all along these Spotgamma levels acting as support. Here price reverses higher just above the SPY 452 level, just at right at the Microsoft announcement. So the thing today was just to watch hedging flow with Hero to confirm your trades, bullish trades, and just look for pullbacks for long entries. And now it looks like S&P 500 has reached the 4550 call wall. So we'll see what happens at that level. All right, let's take a look at NASDAQ. So NASDAQ was trading in a pretty narrow range for most of the morning. It did find support again at the QQQ 380 level, which I mentioned before is right on top of at the same level as the QQQ 380 level, absolute gamma strike support there. Trading in a narrow range until the Microsoft announcement. And then support at the QQQ 381 level, also the NQ VWAP. And note there, cumulative volume delta takes off. You can see that all the green dots, market buy orders straight up So straight up for about almost 100 points in NASDAQ before consolidating and moving higher, fueled by buy stop orders as well as aggressive buyers. And again, just looking for pullback entries as price continues to move higher. Let's take a look at Hero for NASDAQ and see what options traders were doing. All right, so we see in again S&P 500 call buyers almost up to 6 billion now, and this number at 5.94 billion will most certainly exceed 6 billion for today notional value, which is quite large. All right, let's go back to the total signal. All right, let's take a look at the signal for NASDAQ. So in the morning, the hero signal for NASDAQ was pretty choppy. This initial move higher, and that set up a divergence long right around 950. So if you bought a call then, a QQQ call, you'd be doing pretty well. But hero leveled off, price chopped around like I pointed out on the NQ chart, and then took off right after the Microsoft announcement. So let's see what traders are doing today. And now this is a combined signal for NDX and QQQ. So traders are buying calls, that's shown by the rising orange line, and they're buying puts. So Truman, this number is negative. So that's negative delta notional, indicating they're buying puts. If that number was positive and the blue line was rising, they would be selling puts. That would indicate they're selling puts. So call buyers are in charge, and price continues higher. Let's go back and take a look at the chart. So now above all right, so Truman asks falling blue equals buying puts. That's correct. And rising orange equals buying calls. So the orange line is always for calls. The blue line is always for puts. Okay, all right, you've got it. So rising orange, buying calls, falling blue, buying puts. That is correct. All right, so far price is not respecting any level that you would expect to act as resistance. It's above the QQQ call wall, upper daily expected move, and now above the upper weekly expected move. And fueled in a large part by aggressive buyers, call buyers, as well as buy stop orders. So just find a way to get long. And again, the best deal, if you'd bought a 380 or a 381 call today, you'd be in pretty good shape. All right, let's take a look at some stocks. Now, I looked at most of this before the Microsoft announcement, so let's take a look at Microsoft first. And let's go take a look at Hero for Microsoft. I'm going to zoom in on this. Let's take a look at this pre-announcement. All right, so what I saw this morning when I was looking at this before the announcement was a long setup around 9:55. So if you saw this and you bought a call, you've made your week for sure. So there's the 9:55 move higher in hero, and price follows. All right, then we'll zoom out, and this is is all flat basically prior to the announcement. And note, let's see what traders are doing now. So this was obviously driven by call buyers. And aggressive buyers, of course. So what I'm looking at, the rising orange line, traders are buying calls. This is about notion of value 498 million. They're also buying puts, and that is 6.63 million. So call buyers by far and away are dominating. Note the 350 call wall, 345 key gamma strike. Price is well above those levels, so that was a pretty significant call wall breach. I talked about this a little bit yesterday. Let's take a look at this again. This is in Spotgamma Equity Hub. And this is similar to the absolute gamma strikes that we look at for the index products. The orange bars are showing call gamma. So spot gamma assumes for a stock, an individual stock like Microsoft, that traders are long calls and or long puts. This is a little bit different from an index. So market maker's position is always going to be negative. So market makers are short calls or short puts. So in this case, this is definitely in the call dominated region of price. Let's just see where Microsoft is trading now, right around 365. So that's right about here. Definitely in the call dominated region. I can see that by this orange line being lower than the blue line. Call dominated region. Price is well above the call wall at 350. Also the key gamma strike at 345. So as traders continue to buy calls, price rises. Market makers are selling the calls, and that's a negative delta position. They have to buy calls to hedge their delta exposure. And also what's contributing to that is these calls, especially at 345 and 350, going further in the money. So market makers are short these calls, and their delta notional becomes more negative, so they have to continue to buy stock to hedge their delta exposure. Let's take a look at one other thing here. I'm going to go to history, and we can see here, and we can see it. Well, we just got it up here. Let's zoom in on this chart. So what this is showing, and Truman asked, key gamma strike can attract price, repel price, or pin price? Yes, all of the above. So attract price and pin price are pretty close to the same. So one of the keys to looking how a single stock may react at any spot gamma levels to watch hero. So for example, let's say price is approaching a call wall from below and traders start selling calls and buying puts, then you expect that level to act as resistance. On the other hand, like we see in Microsoft here, as traders continue to buy calls, a breach of the call wall can actually act as an accelerant. As I just talked about, those calls go deeper in the money, their delta notional increases, and market makers have to continue to buy stock to hedge their delta exposure. So one thing to point out here, and I talked about this a little bit yesterday with NVIDIA, the next gamma expiry, so this is Friday, the 7/21 expiration. So all these calls, a lot of these calls, 39% of the gamma, will be expiring on Friday. And what can happen is a call gamma unwind. So the calls, as expiration approaches, will start to lose value. And that is the charm effect, the change in delta with the change as time passes. Sorry. So as time passes, the charm effect takes into is the change in delta with the change in price. These calls will start to lose value if traders take their foot off the accelerator, so to speak. If they stop buying calls, then price will can drop as these calls lose value and market makers can sell their long stock hedges. So we'll look for that later on in the week. Let's go back to hero, and you can see somewhat of an effect, that effect now, as traders, they start selling calls. This call line levels off and price levels off. So traders have taken their foot off the accelerator and price responds almost immediately. Let's take a look at one other thing. I'm going to take a look at the next expiry, which for Microsoft will be on Friday. So I'm taking a look at the call and put lines for the total expiration as well as all expirations. And it looks like all right, so the green line is calls for the Friday expiration, the next expiration, again Friday. So it looks like a little bit less than half of this is options that expire on Friday. 217 million versus 500 million. So a little bit less than half of the options trades and hedging flow today due to Friday expiration options. And we can take all trades off, and then we'll see the strong effect of the options that expire on Friday, the Friday expiration. And that makes sense. Typically, that's what the next expiration for stocks that have a large component of price action, large options market driving price are typically the Friday expiration. All right, so in YouTube, Sean asked, how much would it cost per month for Bookmap with the comparable packages that you use? Sean, I urge you to go to go to the Bookmap website, and pricing is pretty well shown on that on the website, the Bookmap website. And if you're interested in Spotgamma, go to spotgamma.com. So go to bookmap.com and spotgamma.com. I have subscriptions to both. So I use, for Bookmap, I use Global Plus, I use the MBO bundle, and I subscribe to Rhythmic Data for futures and DXFeed data for stocks. And then I have the Spotgamma Alpha subscription, which includes Equity Hub. So it includes the base package, Equity Hub, which I'm showing here, and then also Hero. So that's what I'm using. So I'll let you go to those websites, and the prices are shown pretty clearly on those websites. All right, let's take a look. Let's go back to Bookmap now. So there's Microsoft. And over a 20-point move based on that announcement. And again, remember that traders stop buying calls, and price is consolidating now around this 365 level. All right, let's take a look at some other stocks. And I want to take a look at NVIDIA. All right, so before the announcement, NVIDIA was a pretty good short. So let's zoom in on this. Go take a look at Hero. And then after this, we'll, actually I want to take a look at another stock. Then we'll take a look at the live market. Let's go to NVIDIA. Zoom in on the morning. So a short supported by traders net taking negative options positions. And then NVIDIA did respond pretty sharply to the move higher in Microsoft, and was actually trending up a little bit before the announcement came out. Notice here that Hero is rising slightly, price rising slightly, and then after the announcement started to move sharply higher. So in the case of NVIDIA here, this is so a lot of the price action with the move higher was driven by call buyers. You can see that with the strong correlation between call buying and price. And note, here you go, Truman. So here is a rising orange line, positive value, and also a rising blue line, positive value. So this indicates that traders are buying calls and selling puts. So both positive notional value. So that's a case of, again, selling puts and buying calls. And it looks like the total notional value is higher for puts, which is a little bit unusual. All right, so there you go, NVIDIA. All right, let's take a look at, so first of all, does anybody have any stocks they want me to take a look at? Let's take a quick look at Tesla. Tesla kind of off in its own world today, not really responding to the Microsoft news like other stocks. Tesla, good short in the morning. You can see the falling hero line, then a long, confirmed by options trades. Usually there's a very strong correlation between options trades and hedging flow and price action for Tesla. Let's go take a look at Bookmap. We'll take a look at Tesla. So here are the setups this morning for Tesla. Pullbacks to this trend line, shorts, then price finally reverses right around 10:30 at the 286 level. Not responding. All right, let's go take a look at Hero. Go back to Tesla. All right, so Tesla, here's the reversal higher right around 10:30. Traders stop taking negative delta positions, start taking positive delta positions, and price moves higher. Until then, it was good short with the pullbacks to that trend line. All right, Super Newbie asks, is there a full list of stocks that Spotgamma covers? And I don't know if they have a list. There is an easy way to do that. Well, not necessarily an easy way, but here's a way to do this. So this little bookmap, bookmark tag is you can show your watch list or not. So this is the entire list of stocks that now, well, first of all, Equity Hub has every stock that's traded just about in Equity Hub. But if you're asking about stocks with Hero information, Hero supported, this is how you can get a list of those stocks. So just scroll through. It's a little bit time consuming the first time that you look at this. You don't have to do it that often. You can, once you can just create a watch list in whatever trading platform you use. So I have taken that watch list over to Thinkorswim. So here it is, and I haven't checked this in a while, but it should be pretty close unless they've recently added more stock. So I just did this manually. I watched the list here in Hero and just added these manually. It took maybe a few minutes. So once you have that, then you can, and then after that, I prefer my own watch list. These are mostly large cap tech stocks that I like to trade, and I have all of my watch list shown over here on the right. Oops, wrong symbol. So there's my watch list as well, shown down here. as well as over to the right. All right, let's take a look at a couple of stocks real quick. So let me get to these list of stocks in Discord for Slow Desari, and then Tony will take a look at ASML as well. So let's just go to let's go back to the complete list, and then I'll just scroll down and look at both. So if they're supported by Hero, then we'll see. So he wants to see ASML. So sorry, I don't see that. Tony, I don't see this in the list. And I don't have that in Bookmap, so it's not here in Hero as well. And typically the stocks that are impacted by largely impacted by options traders shown on this list. So it's possible that the options market for ASML is not significant. All right, the next is Interactive Brokers. IBKR, not in that list. So sorry, Slow Desari. I don't see it in there. The next is JBHT. Don't see that in the list either. Walmart is. So here's Hero for Walmart. Traders most likely buying calls. Yep. And just a really kind of a large block buy. Is this Walmart? Let's see. Oh, that's financial service of Walmart is WMT. Yeah, there's Walmart, so WAL. I'm not sure what that is. Walmart, WMT, WAL, financial services. Anyway, there it is. Looks like it's pretty thinly traded. But in this list, notional value positive 5.8, 5.9 million. And Unity, what is the Super Newbie? What is the ticker signal, ticker symbol for Unity? Is this it? U? Yeah, it is. That's Unity software. So there you go. So Unity finding support at the 45 call wall key gamma strike. All right, let's take one last look at the S&P 500 and NASDAQ. So it looks like options traders may be finally fading the move higher. We'll zoom in to the last hour or so. So options traders starting finally to fade this move higher. In the S&P 500. A little bit more clear when we look at the total signal. Let's go to Bookmap. and that's at the upper weekly expected move. Pretty clear signal here in the order flow. Note the shift, all the aggressive sellers coming in with the pink volume dots. Those are buy minus sell. Pink is showing aggressive sellers, sell market orders. Note the substantial number of iceberg orders. This is cumulative for the day. Larger traders selling with iceberg orders. Now options traders are starting to fade this move higher at the upper weekly expected move. Let's take a look at NASDAQ, see if they're doing the same. And Tony asked, all right, Karma asked plug power. So we'll take a quick look at that. So let's go, we're on NASDAQ now. We'll take a look at that. So NASDAQ is above the daily expected move, the 385 QQQ call wall, as well as the upper weekly expected move. And larger traders also fading this with iceberg orders. They have been for most of the day. All right, let's take a look at Hero, and then we'll wrap it up for sure. All right, so let's go to Hero. So that's S&P 500 now. They're buying again. NASDAQ. Overall trend definitely higher. All right, so Karma FX wants to look at plug. I'm pretty sure that's in here. Here we go. So burst higher in the morning. Options traders helping to drive price sharply higher, pretty much out of the open, out at the open, and then as options traders stop, price trends down. All right, so Karma asks as well, uranium, I assume mean ETF, and I doubt that's in here. I'm almost certain that there's no uranium ETF, sorry. That probably does not have much of an options market, so it would not, it's a pretty obscure ETF, I would guess, so I doubt it's in here. And then Tony asks, is Spotgamma practical without Bookmap for a start? And I would say yes. I'm sure there are probably many more Spotgamma users that don't use Bookmap that do. So I use both. I find extreme value, high value in both. And I could not trade without Bookmap and without Spotgamma. So yes, Spotgamma is practical without Bookmap for a start. All right, that's everything that I have. I'm a little bit over time. I want to thank everyone for your questions and comments. Thank you for watching. Again, thanks for your questions and comments. And I will see you tomorrow. Thanks again. Bye.